Hello, this is Barry, Kilowatt United 3 X-Ray. Today I'm showing you a little bit about the KX2 L-Craft radio. Nice little radio. You have to remember one thing about the KX2. Two things. Number one, it's not a KX3, so you can't make a comparison between the two. There's similarities, but it's not a KX3. You want super features, get a KX3. This radio is a grab and go radio, and it's ideal for that. It's smaller, it's lighter, the internal batteries hold a greater charge for better amp hour usage. So we'll give you a quick once over. To turn it on, you have to push two buttons next to the VFO and hold them, and it'll go on. And you can have a little display come across KU3X QRP. I like that. And the first thing we have is the audio gain, which is over here. This is not only audio gain for the speaker. First of all, notice there's no antenna hookup. Right now, there's none hooked up. The bands are terrible, so no use you sitting here listening to all kinds of white noise, so I didn't put an antenna on, and the power output is 0, so I don't have to worry about a dummy load. But when you come to CW, you'll need a side tone. Now, this is the audio level. Now you need the side tone. Tap it one time. There's your side tone level. I'll turn it down. It's a lot lower. Tap it again. As you can hear, it's a lot louder. So there's your side tone, there's your audio level. To turn the noise blanker on, push and hold the knob. Push and hold, the noise blanker is on. And so now it's on. I had it on and didn't realize it. Now we come to keyer speed and mic. Let's see, this is the mic gain. So if you're in sideband and you turn this knob, you're going to adjust the mic gain. I would have rather had that in the menu, because when you're using sideband, you grab the wrong knob and all of a sudden you sent the radio out of its normal ALC range, or too low or whatever, too high. But they did it here and that's alright. Keyer speed, dial in what you want, 21, 15 on down, all the way up. I usually have it set around 22, and that's perfect. To push and hold the button, you get the power output level. As you see right now, it's 0. But just to show you with the internal battery, it will go up to 10 watts, and it will put 10 watts out. So you know, the only thing about 10 watts out is the current drain is a lot heavier on the battery. So we'll put the wattage out down there. VFO, which is obvious. And VFO, as you see, .44. So there's your tuning step. Now you can change the rate by pushing the rate button. Now it's a faster tuning rate. And we'll go back where it was. Now, to get the last digit to light up in CW, unlike the KX3, which you push and hold the rate button and it'll light that last digit up, this one's a little different. You have to go to audio peak filter. Here's the filter button. Push and hold audio peak filter. Now the last digit lights up, but your audio peak filter is engaged. So that's the only way you're going to get that to light up. So let's get out of here. We don't need the audio peak filter. And to change bands, you can push the band button one time. Now you dial through your segments, whatever you want, whatever band. So we'll go back to 14, and wherever we were before, we're there now. A quick way to do it is direct keypad entry. So here's the numbered keys: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, here's 5 over here. Here's 6, 7, 8. This is 9. And over here on the left is 0. And the mode button up here is the decimal point. So we're going to go frequency, push and hold the rate button, frequency 14 dot, let's see, 0 to 5. Where's my 5 over here? We'll do 0 to 4 so we don't hunt. Let's do that again. Frequency 14.124. Now hit band. There's 14.124. I must have bumped something before. You want to go to the bottom of the band. Oops.
Welcome to.
Let's turn that off. Sorry. Hold the rate button. 14.1. Don't put anything else in. It fills the rest with zeros. If you want to go to the bottom of the band, push and hold. 14. hit band, you're at the bottom of the band. You want to go to 7 megahertz quickly, dial set, hit 7, no decimal point, hit the band, you're at the bottom of the band. So that's how you can change bands. So you can walk through with the VFO, or you can direct entry the exact frequency, or you can skip all the numbers behind and it'll default to 0, such as what you see here, which is a pretty neat feature. The AB band, that's self-explanatory, back and forth. What I usually do is I'll hit the mode button for sideband and I'll dial this up. Let's put this in the sideband portion. So what I'll do is I'll let this VFO on sideband, and the other VFO, that'll be on CW, which is pretty neat. Let's see, other features I like is for split, you go down here and here's RIT. I didn't mess with that yet. You can have a built-in voice keyer or CW sender. Over here is message. You push message one time, and number 1 and number 2, you have 2 slots. So there's your message 1, there's message 2. So over here for CW I have KU3X. I didn't do 2 yet. But if you're in sideband, hit message, the display will come up. See the number 1 to 3. We're not going to do anything, so let's see if I get out. This is clear. There we go, that's end. But hit that for message 1, 2. I don't think there's 3, but I may be wrong. Maybe there's 3 on here. But that'll be the message for CW, and for sideband would be the other thing, obviously. The menus are pretty neat. Here's your menus. Your backlight is on right now. Obviously you can turn it off, you can turn it on. There's a lot of things you can set up in the menu. You set the clock in the menu, and it's just that's really how you set the radio up, and that's fine by me, because there's features in there. Once you set it up, you don't have to worry about it anymore. In other words, to turn on the compressor for audio, you have to go in the menu and turn it on. To adjust the compression level, you have to go in the menu and turn it on. So they're once and done things. The one thing for CW tune, when you hear a signal, you push the CW tune button. I'll have to look where it is. I forgot. I'm sorry. But anyway, when you push it, if you're off frequency a little bit, it'll center that and put you right on frequency. That feature you have to turn on in the menu. So it's not there automatically. You have to turn it on. Let's get back out of the menu. I have the clock installed here. That's an expensive option. All it is a clock. Well, when I'm portable, I don't want to carry anything with me but the radio coax and antenna. That's it, and maybe soda, something to drink. So I had the clock installed when I bought the radio. I like the clock, but you can do without the clock. It has nothing to do because you can't charge the batteries internally. For the KX2 to charge the batteries internally, you had to have the clock charger installed. That's 2 parts. Well, this one's only a clock. So if you don't need a clock, don't get the clock. I like the clock, so that's in there. And another feature is turn the knob. There's your battery voltage level, so you know the condition of the battery. If you have an external supply in and the voltage of the external supply is higher than the battery voltage, the external supply will take over because the battery's diode will protect it, and it'll read your supply voltage. So that's all that does. Now in a KX2 you have battery voltage and supply voltage separate. This one, they're together. It only reads 1, so you know. This is how much current it's draining right now on receive, 0.181, flickering back and forth, amps, or 183 milliamps. That's for receive. I'll skip the rest because I want to go to amp hour reading, which this feature is really neat. I have the Elcraft battery internally, and that's a 2.6 amp hour. So right now I've only used 350 milliamp hour. Only 1/3 of an amp hour. So this is a 2.6 amp hour battery. You can keep an eye on it just like a gas gauge in a car. The other day I was in the park, the bands were dead, and I was sending CQ for 3 hours. I just kept sending and sending. And the most amp hours I use is 0.84. So it wasn't even half of the charge in the battery that I did use, which I think that's a really neat feature. Now to clear that, you have to go into the menu and dial down to amp hours right there, amp hours, and this is the clear button. You push and hold that and it'll clear that. So when you take the battery out and charge it and put it back in, you'll have all zeros and start from scratch again. So that's how you reset that amp hour reading. But I always let it here because I'm logging, sending, and I want to know what time it is, and I'll go down here and say, yep, got a long way to go, and I can go back again. Now, word on the battery, I bought the Elcraft battery because it fits in there, which is really nice. It's going to be hard to find an aftermarket battery that's going to fit in there. It's very easy to change. 2 screws on the side, the back comes off, and the only wires on the back instead of the ribbon cable like the KX3, it just has 2 speaker wires, and you're not going to break them. You can separate this and let them lay down, and there's a special tab on the plug that you pull on so you don't pull on the wires to change the batteries. Now, I bought 2 battery packs from Elcraft, so if I'm out anywhere I'm sending and the battery's going down, I'm not going to change the battery on the fly. Even though this battery's down, I'm going to let it in there. The other battery pack has the same plug that goes in the receptacle on the side as the power connector. I'll just plug that one in, and because it's a higher voltage, it's going to start drawing off of that battery. If they both go down, well, then you're in trouble, but you'll probably be home by then. Again, you cannot charge the batteries inside the radio. They have to be external. The speaker on this radio is a lot better than the KX3 speaker. Now, Elcraft makes a set of paddles to go with this. Unlike the ones from the KX3, these paddles are a little shorter in length. But what I didn't like about them is the spacing. They're too far apart, so your fingers are really far apart, and I didn't like that. So I took the mounting bracket that I use on a KX3, took it off and put it on here. This is from the Palm Pico paddle people. Morse Express sells this bracket, and I use the mini Palm Pico paddles, which are really neat. I love them. Very nice setting to them. You can adjust the tension, you can adjust the gap, and when you're done, you put it aside and you can push it in and put it in the case, and they're protected, so they're not going to break, and you can let it on. Now, the one thing about this bracket, using it on this radio, this angle that it's bent is made for the KX3. This radio doesn't tilt as much, so it's actually up in the air a little bit. So as much as it works, let me push that out, as much as it works, these paddles are a little bit higher over here. So I just had a little block of fiberboard, and I take that with me and I put it in. Now, I did email a guy from Morse Express. He emailed me back, and he thanked me for the information, and he forwarded that email over to Europe to the guy that makes the Palm Pico paddles and these. So hopefully he's going to come out with a bracket that's tilted down a little bit better to fit this. If it does, I'll put this back on a KX3, and I'll buy the new bracket and put it on here. There's a lot of different key paddle combinations you can use. You can use this. I have a set of Bengali Traveler lights that I take with me with the KX3, but I needed a radio that's grab and go and does everything. And this radio really, really fits my needs. So if you're going to look at one and you're going to read the reviews, some of the guys complain in the reviews, it doesn't have 160, it doesn't have 6 meters, it doesn't have AM. Well, before you buy the radio, read what it does have and buy the radio that fits your needs. I don't know of anybody, and I know a lot of people QRP portable, I don't know of anybody that does 160 portable. Are there people out there to do it? Yeah, I'm sure there are. Well, then buy the KX3. Don't buy the KX2. This is a specific radio for the grab and go guy that wants something small. And what I do is take this in the backyard. I sit in a chair under the eave of the patio, which has a nice overhang to it, and I have an OCF 40 I hook to it, and I put this in my lap with a little pencil and paper on the armrest of the chair, and I just sit in the backyard and relax, and I try to work people. When I'm done, I unplug this, turn it off, come back in the shack. So if you want a grab and go radio, this is the radio to get. If you need more features, then you better get a KX3. But either radio is great. Both of them are kind of grab and go, I'm sorry, but this is a lot smaller. I hope I gave you enough information on the KX2 so you know how to operate the thing. It's super easy. There's nothing to it. Oh, one feature I forgot. I'm sorry. There's a program function key right here. Now I have the internal tuner in this radio, but what I do is the program function key puts the internal tuner in bypass. So right now it's auto, it's in line. I push again and hold, it's in bypass. The reason I program that key to do that, if I want to check the SWR of the antenna, I put it in bypass. I push and hold the transmit button, which puts it in tune. It sends a 3-watt carrier, and seeing if there isn't anything attached, I can't show you, but it'll give you a 3-watt carrier, and it'll tell you the actual SWR that it sees at the radio. And if it's high, you need the tuner. Push the button, tuner's in line. Push the button one more time, don't hold it down, just tap it, the tuner takes off, and away it goes. But that's what I found for the program function key, the best use. You may find a backlight key or going through the menu, maybe you'll turn the compressor on and off. Whatever's in the menu, you can turn on and off by programming the program function key. And the way to program it is, go in the menu, pick what feature you want. Let's say amp hour. Let's say you wanted to do the amp hour. Let's go back to amp hour. That's pretty neat. So here's speed, amp hour rating. To clear that, I'm not sure if you can do it right here by putting that in there or not. You could check, but that might be one feature. But whatever you want. There's CW CW tune. Remember I said turn that feature on. There it is. You want to turn the feature on and off? All you do is push and hold right here, this button right now, and that feature goes here. So when you push that button, it turns it on and off. That's how you do it. If you want the auto tuner, bring that up in the menu, push and hold the button, and that programs that program function key. I can't think of anything else to tell you. Good luck with the radio if you buy one. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Made me happy. 73, good DX from Kilowatt United 3 X-Ray. Da-da-da-da-da-da.